Hi, and welcome to XR for Work. This is the show where we explore the immersive, virtual, mixed, and augmented platforms designed for business and professional use. My name is Rick, and I'm your host here at XR for Work. Now, one of the most powerful uses of VR is in training and education. I have little doubt it will become the standard platform and medium for education in the future. And we're starting to see evidence of its effectiveness in early trials and studies. Being eager to experience this firsthand, I jumped in and tried it myself. And today, we'll be talking about Universe, a system for learning about Unity, C#, and other tools and elements of creating VR worlds. And in the Universe, you're actually using a VR world, AltSpace, as your campus, and teaching about creating these 3D worlds in a 3D world. But before we get started, don't forget to visit us. Visit our Facebook page, XR for Work. Follow our Twitter account at XR for Work. Say hi to us on LinkedIn, Rick Castile and Nicholas Johansson, who are the partners at XR for Work. And email us, xrforwork@gmail.com, if you need to reach us. And now, let's get started. So, as I said, today we're talking about Universe. Now, Universe is an actual company that teaches about developing VR worlds and all the components that go into that in VR. Their campus is held in AltSpace, which is where I attended class in Universe. So it's a multimodal training platform, meaning it will train Unity and C#, which was the introductory class that I took. And then as you go through some of the other level classes, you get into GitHub, Blender, and AltSpace world building. So it's all these components are covered through your journey through the Universe program. Now, it's not just held in VR. The students use Discord for their communications with each other, with the professors, with the teachers of the class. You post in Discord and you let the instructors know when you've completed things or when you have an issue. They have office hours that are available through Discord. And I was able to actually leverage that once myself when I was having an issue after installing Unity, and was able to share my screen and get walked right through an issue that I was having. They use Google Classroom for their assignments. So you will sign up for Google Classroom, which I had never been exposed to before. And it will walk you through each of the classes. And it's also where you turn your assignments in each week for credit and review. And then the weekly classroom is in AltSpace. So you use your AltSpace account, and through the Google Classroom, you get the link to sign up for the class. And you attend there. And if you're not able even to attend in VR, you can actually watch it live streamed on YouTube. So the class is actually held both in 2D through the YouTube interface, and then within 3D within AltSpace. And then you work your way through, again, this is at least in the introductory course that I completed, work through the assignments in Unity Learn. Now, yes, those of you who might know or go check this out, you could walk through Unity Learn classes on your own. In my estimation, trying to learn programming is like trying to learn a foreign language. And without somebody there who knows that language to help you with the syntax and the particulars, you won't be very successful on your own. And so what's the cost of attending Universe? Well, There are 4 classes presently that they offer, right? The introductory to Unity and C# that I completed was a 9-week class, $199. And then there are 3 subsequent follow-ups to kind of walk you through to get you to that level of proficiency where you could, come out on the other side being an expert in this particular skill set. So you have a second class, VR World and Advanced Unity Development, $249, VR App Development Part 1, $249, and then a VR App Development Part 2, $199. Now, each of these requires you to put in 6 to 8 to 10 hours a week, and then plus the class, just to give you a sense of what's involved with it. Now, you'll notice on your screen that if you use the discount code universe_welcome when you sign up and list XR for Work or Rick Castile or Rick as someone who's referring you, you will get a $60 discount. And then Universe and XR for Work will donate $50 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So you'll be helping yourself, you'll be helping the kids who get help through Make-A-Wish. So I hope you, if you're going to sign up, that you leverage this code, and we'll remind you again at the end of this session about that. Okay, so why learn in VR? Well, on the Universe website, they have some statistics, learning through virtual reality. And this is, after their completion, they have you do the evaluation of the class. And by their statistics, they are 4 times higher completion rate than online courses. Now, I've taken online courses through a lot of the kind of online course developers that have popped up, over the last 10 years, and they're great, they're good, they can be very helpful, but it's a very, very solitary experience. And there's no sequence to it or socialization to it as you're doing it. And I think one of the reasons that Universe is so successful, and you'll see this through the presentation, hopefully, is that there is a real campus feel and camaraderie that exists within going through this with a group of other people. 87% of students prefer learning in VR versus online. And Universe is the 5th largest VR events producer in the world. They have been doing this now for a couple of years. I think I don't want to say, I can't remember exactly. This is not their first class. They've been doing this for a while now. So they have, started to really iron out any issues. In my experience in the class, it was very smoothly run. They juggle between the online students who are in YouTube and the students in VR very well. And they have recordings if you're unable to make the class that you can watch later. So it doesn't surprise me, nor am I skeptical about these results at all. Let's take a quick look. I'm going to run a little 2.5-minute clip of a section of the class to give you a sense of what this is like and why I think this is so successful and exciting. So what you're seeing here right now is the AltSpace classroom. So you can see I'm sitting in a lecture hall-like environment. There are 30 or 40 other students here. Out in front of us is a 3D animation where they're talking about this specific concept within C# that we had studied this previous week. And of course, you're talking about a 3D world and a 3D concept, right? Objects moving through space on X, Y, and Z axes, essentially, when you're doing this development. And trust me, I am by no means an expert yet, but I've learned at least that much through the class. And so in this particular case, Nick, the founder of Universe, was describing the concept of objects in space and the syntax that's used to move an object at a certain rate at a certain time, and that you have to deal with differing types of hardware and how the code can make a difference in making sure that whether you're on older piece of hardware or the newer piece of hardware, that the a particular 3D object moves at the right rate of speed, depending on the code that you use, right? And but in my experience here, and again, I'm trying to convey this in a 2D medium to folks watching it in a 2D screen right now. You're probably not getting as much out of this as I'm trying to relate in regards to this being a 3D exercise, right? I'm in this 3D space. I'm sitting beside other people. There are hands being raised and questions being asked, and there's interaction that's going on, just like you might do IRL, in real life. And in addition, again, you get that element of being in 3D space. So let's go back to this concept, why learn in VR? Well, PricewaterhouseCoopers, who now has a big practice in VR, released a report back in 2020, just last year. And this was the results of their findings, is that VR learners were 4 times faster to train than in the classroom. They were 275% more confident in applying their skills. They were 3.75 times more emotionally connected to the content than the classroom. And I think that's a key element there. And 4 times more focused than their e-learning peers. And so, the statistics we saw from Universe and the statistics we see here from PricewaterhouseCoopers, again, whether you question the exact numbers that they're giving, all of them are pointing to the fact that e-learning in VR is very, very successful, and certainly warrants the attention and utilization by a lot of people, right? And so again, I put this 3D object, this 3D animation in my PowerPoint presentation. And I'm telling you it's 3D, and you can see it moving and hovering here on the screen. But again, you're in 2D. I'm in 2D when I'm making this presentation in PowerPoint. So there is really very little 3D effect that you get from it, that you can get when you're in 3D. And that often can make the difference, I think, especially when the topic is creating 3D worlds. And so exactly what do you do in this class? Well, I'm going to walk you through a couple of my lessons. And here was my very first project, right? It's called Driver. And this was really just getting to understand and know the Unity UI and how to manipulate objects in Unity. And it was really just, placing these barrels and these cones on the road and actually being able to move and manipulate a vehicle around the objects. Very, very simple and simplistic, I know, to look at. But if you've never done programming before, and while I have a degree in computer information systems, programming was one of those things I did in school, and it's never been something I've done at work. So this was the most programming I've ever done in my life. So learning this was actually quite exciting for me, and being able to create something where I'm moving an object through space was pretty cool. And then we went on to actually creating and destroying objects, right? So how do you actually create the animals that are appearing on the screen in this randomized fashion, and then create and destroy them when you hit them with another object, right? And so you start to leverage and learn more and more code along with Unity as you create these little games. And then character animations and scene movement, how you actually get the character to move and the scene to scroll along behind, and how you sync those things up and create the little explosion when the character doesn't make the jump over the barrel. All comes into play in things you do. And then, again, power-ups and enemy behavior. And for those who have played games, first-person shooters or other types of games, you're familiar with power-ups and behavior of enemies that are having to kind of come towards you. And how does all that work? And how does, and we're multiplying the difficulty as we go, right? We go from 1 ball to 2 balls to 3 balls to 4 balls. And, the activity and the physics behind how this all works. And then, here's our version of Fruit Ninja, right? Where you're actually then controlling with mouse clicks and again, randomly generating objects and giving those objects criteria, making a difficulty grid, being able to determine the difficulty of your particular game and being able to restart and replay over and over again. So, these are the kind of things that we went over and learned during the introductory class. And, just to prove that, it was a class, here's me with my classmates. We had an actual graduation, and it's funny. I got to tell you, as you might think in real life of your name getting called and walking up to the stage and kind of getting that certificate, it was very much the same way when we were here in alt space and they were calling people up and providing the certificates. So Nick and Chris, who were the leaders of the class and the founders of Universe, just have done a fantastic job in what they've created here and giving the users a real experience of being in a classroom in a 3D environment, learning a concept like this that is very much 3D. And so again, I wanted to go over this slide again to let you know again what's available to you. You've got the introduction, you've got advanced, then you've got app development 1 and app development 2. They're all 9 to 10 week courses between $199, $249. But again, if you remember this Universe Welcome discount code, and again, say that you were referred by XR for Work or by Rick at XR for Work or whatever, Nick will give you a $60 discount off the class, and we will donate our $50 referral to Make-A-Wish. So again, you'll be helping yourself and you'll be helping the kids who get to take advantage of Make-A-Wish. So I hope as you consider this and perhaps sign up for the class that you'll remember to use this code. Okay, so the XR for Work assessment model, congestion and consumption of information and retention. I mean, this was great. You were in VR. You also did work certainly outside of VR. You spent 6 to 8 hours in the Unity course, doing study in Discord, discussing things. But when you really get into that 3D element of the alt space classroom, that's where some of those concepts really gel and solidify for you. Flow and UI ergonomics, the social and collaboration, this is where VR just really, really shines. I put that headset on and I go into that alt space classroom, and that's all there is for me at the time. There's not a window that I'm glancing out. I'm not looking at messages on my phone. I'm not getting distracted by the 100 other things that can distract you when you're trying to work in real life. So there is that flow and focus that VR naturally brings to bear. And again, the social element that was really enhanced by Nick and Chris. One of the things they did at the end of every class is they would do world hopping. So they would take the class and they would take them to various worlds that had been created by previous classrooms and students so that they could be inspired and ask questions and have discussions afterwards, either with the instructors or with each other about what's going on. So it was like, going out after class for, a drink or going to the commons and sitting down and discussing what you had just learned. So, that social collaborative experience was just like being in a real, better, because we could be in these worlds that we could never inhabit in real life. I can remember, in fact, the last one was this Godzilla world where you were as big as Godzilla in the city, and everybody was like picking up ships and buses and trains, and it was a really fun time. But I remember going off to the side with Chelsea and having a conversation about what she did during the semester and kind of getting to know her a little bit better. And then as far as value, I certainly think it's very economical, and compared to the cost of a number number of other classes, or certainly trying to take this at a local college or tech or tech center, I think you get a lot of value. And again, if you use that discount code, even more so. Okay, well, I think that's it for Universe. I hope if this is a topic that interests you, you'll go check them out. And again, don't forget about that Universe welcome code so that you can get your own discount as you explore understanding Unity, understanding 3D world building, and understanding the value behind VR as a teaching medium. So I hope this has been helpful, and I hope I see you in the metaverse. Bye now.